So this is now already the sixth video that I share with people there around the world. And the sixth video is a combination of the previous five. It's quite a great step forward again, a great leap. But I think since there's no time to lose, and since there is no particular reason to hide this point of view, I might as well get along with it. But of course, I will start this video with 2 minutes of sitting practice meditation. But to all those people who say, well, what a bore. Why are we going to practice sitting meditation? And we might as well push the button and move 2 minutes forward. I will say this is the sitting practice of meditation is the basis of everything. So the first part and also the last part of everything and the middle. So I have to stress that it's absolutely necessary before everything else is going to be said. And after something has been said, I just said something as an introduction, but it's also important for you to move with an introduction, people, towards the meditation, which I also put in guided meditation in the video. Anyway, a lot of talking, but now I'm going to do 2 minutes of meditation, and then I'll get back to you. So, the topic that I'm going to discuss with you today is sacred world, and I have previously talked to you about the level of realization that might occur on the second path, and thought it was necessary as a ground to discussing the vision of sacred world and what it implies to us in our ordinary daily home life, or even bigger, what it might imply to us um, when we enter the bigger world. Um, as I said, Buddhism is taught in three vehicles. The first one being mainly purifying oneself, hearing, studying, meditating, and making friends of oneself, with oneself. The second one, going much quicker as an extra vehicle. On top of that, show developing an altruistic motivation, um, and working with others, and not so much holding to the idea of developing our own freedom, but letting others go first, and so we can share our happiness with others. Uh, Out of the second vehicle comes the direct experience, and also we have the doctrine of emptiness, which I discovered before. Of course, this is a very important discovery, and this part we cannot do without this part, because again, this is at the core of mysticism and self-realization. On the other hand, now if we are going to add the third vehicle, uh, in mysticism and spirituality, we are going to talk about our awakening as we're going to talk about the awakening on a fruition level. This means that we are not going to talk about emptiness so much anymore, but we will talk about the colorfulness of uh, the awakened nature of our mind. The third vehicle is a skillful means vehicle, in which we don't just have discovered the emptiness of the nature of our mind, but we might realize further levels of skillful means. In this way, this means that our being awakened means that we have a tremendous possibilities of action. Of course, it is very important to recognize that, but for people who might be afraid that they still on the first level, the first vehicle, we might as well add the next two vehicles and say that we want to go a little bit quicker through everything. And we point out directly at the fruition level of your potential awakened mind. In this case, complete skillful means turning back to the from the absolute truth of emptiness to the relative truth. But in this case, we use the relative truth as a way to support the absolute truth and not the other way around, us being stuck in the painful worlds when we embark on the first level of relative truth and we try to get a glimpse of the absolute truth. But now it's the other way around. We discover the absolute truth and we use the relative truth to point directly at the absolute state of our awakening. So at this case, in the third level, there are meditation practices which are available to us. Generally, this we can say that third level practices of meditation are practiced privately. This is not so much because it is only a practice available to advanced practitioners. Um, and they're so-called, it's supposed to be the elite and the second level and the first level, second level practitioners are not available to this secret level because they are simply not good enough. It's not at all the point. Point is that these techniques of third level meditation are introduced only later to be understood properly. And we have we need a good preparation on the third vehicle, the second vehicle, until we embark on the third vehicle. Um, so let me stress again that people who use the first vehicle and there's an absolute complete path in the first vehicle, but people who are not quick enough to realize their awakened nature in the first vehicle. There is another second vehicle that goes a little bit quicker, and we have a little bit more means to get towards realization of this nature. But to people, you could say that still don't understand it, when they're practicing the second vehicle, there is also a third vehicle for people who have still not understood it. And the third vehicle directly points towards our fully awakened nature. So that's, I think that's a much better way to view the three vehicles. It's not so much as one below, way down below and the other above. And then for the very important elite, there's the third vehicle for those people who who are so high up above the others uh, that they can practice all these special techniques that are not simply not available for others and are simply secret. That's not the point at all. Um, so on the other hand, because third vehicle practices are as a matter of principle practiced in a secret uh, way as a student connected to a master, then of course it is not so. There's some parts of these things that I I could not. I cannot be able to discuss, of course, with you today because you need to have a special qualified teacher find it to teach you these methods. But what I can say in general about the third vehicle, that's what I'm going to do now. And of course, there are some things that can be said that are available to everyone who is listening now, especially to those who have been um, practicing and looking into the previous five videos that I've shared with you. Um, and this is there being the use of skillful means, so use of relative truth as a way of pointing directly to the awakened state of mind. Now, in this case, I want to talk to you with about the whole idea of us, which is part of the third vehicle that I share with you right now, today, of there being a view on the world as being sacred. In this case, sacred is not a pious way of being sacred from an ordinary sense, but it is the profound qualities of the world that we live in. And since there's no time to use, if no time to lose, if you um, look at the gigantic problems today of this world, and if you look at the amount of corruption and problems that also has been present today in communities like the Buddhist communities, or what about the Christian communities like the Catholic Church? It is very important that we should understand that from the point of view of advanced mystical teaching, as I want to present with you in this video, the world is sacred. And it's a different sacredness from the common use of the world, maybe. This the profoundness of our world, which we can tune in directly. Um, so in this case, the relativity of the relative truth we are going to use to rediscover the beautiful absolute truth of profundity of awakening of the soul of humanity. And there's a way to do this at home, because there's only one part to start, which is at home. And we have to take care of our environment very properly. This does not means that we have to spend a lot of money on our home, because that is not really the point. We might spend more, we might spend less, but we have to take care of our surroundings very properly. And in this pessimistic view, that a materialistic view of the world that is common to people today here in this world, it is really necessary to invite that sacredness um, into our homes. And things like that, it might be as well as simple as cleaning the floor, vacuuming the floor. but the way we organize our lives and the way we relate to our own environment. There's only one way to get about. If you want to create a better world, we used to have, uh, we need to use the wisdoms that I have presented to you in this video and the previous 5 videos. And once we have got a flavor of that, then we might as well, maybe we want to talk about changing this world. But for the time being, today I'm going to talk about these things that I've discussed with you in this video so far. And I'm not talking about rushing out and become the president or special teachers who are world saviors and have special tricks and can perform miracles. Since I don't exactly know about that, for the time being, we stick with things as I explained in this video here. But the sacred world is available to us now, at this very moment. And it is only a matter of a short snap of the hands to turn confusion into wisdom. The only point is that some people might find it very difficult, and I can explain a lot of, I can give a lot of explanation why that might be. But I think the main point that the difference between confusion and profundity seems to be so vast because it is just too easy to grab. And I want to show you I want to show you, share a few of an idea of what sacredness is. And so don't think I'm going to snap my finger now and make you all feel sacred and awakened for the rest of your life. But um, I do want to add a few things to this video before I think it's time to stop again. And that is that once we take care of our environment, I think we definitely need to clean it up generally. So we have to be able to relate to very uh, simple level of relating to our environment and before even or we might not even need all this philosophy so much of this philosophical stuff and all these books, but the first thing is really start with things like mopping your floor and dealing with your personal situation, your friends and your family, and your environment where you live in properly, and adding some brilliance in it. When you might feel that, you might feel that something comes towards you, which is a sort of, in a common sense, common way of mentioning it, it is a sort of spirits that enter your room. Now, in Shambhala or Tibetan tradition, which I try not to hold on to because I want to talk as a general mystic and in a general spirituality, and not on behalf of Shambhala with all its, as an organization with all its corruption and its own problems. But I want to talk independently. But in Tibetan and in Shambhala tradition, this is called drala. We might experience these spirits coming towards you. It's a sort of kind of atmosphere that you feel in your room. When you invite the right atmosphere in your room, then you might feel a tremendous sort of uplifted energy. Now, this energy again, and I wish I could not talk about Shambhala and about Tibetan Buddhism, but um, again, I have to quote this name in Tibetan. It's called Lungta, and in the Shambhala Buddhism, it is called Windhorse. But I want to get this over with the sectarianism and put it into a much broader perspective of secular mysticism and spirituality. Talking about Windhorse as a feeling of a tremendous energy that comes out of inviting those spirits. Um, this is a tremendous uplifted energy, and it's tremendous important after we've and during and the sitting meditation and um, from the working with the principle of the spirits and the working with the principle of the uplifted wind horse, we can carry on. Um, not to, of course, I have to stress again that we never give up sitting meditation, and that this is the basis of everything. So uh, if we pursue on a spiritual path, all these principles are very important. And I want to get rid of all sectarianism and hope that everybody in the whole world, um, that's quite ambitious if everybody in the whole world is listening to me. But I hope that every sort of doesn't matter, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, whatever sort of background people come from. I hope that they will push this YouTube button and listen to me. And I firmly believe that secular mysticism and spirituality is a path available to us as human beings and is available to everyone. And so I make this YouTube really for everyone. Um, and I thought it was very necessary, but this is a lot again, and I leave you now. So I go back to my sitting meditation, and we will see what will come after this. Doesn't really matter. Hope I'm going to inspire people by the way things I say, and I hope that we'll see each other back. So there I go to my meditation, and see you once again.